What if I told you there's a country in Western Europe, roughly the size of the American state of Indiana, that has more UNESCO World Heritage Sites per square mile than almost anywhere else on the continent? That country is Portugal. And once you understand its history, you'll never see Portugal the same way again. I'm Audra, the nerd traveler, and I have spent years obsessing over the intersection of travel and history, specifically UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Portugal is one of my absolute favorites, and today I'm giving you the complete breakdown. The regions, the cities, the UNESCO sites, when to go, what to eat, and how to structure your trip so you actually experience the history instead of just walking past it. There's a full written guide linked in the description below, but stay with me because I'm going to share something at the end that will make planning this trip a whole lot easier. Let me give you the historian's case for Portugal because it is genuinely remarkable. Portugal was founded in 1143. By 1500, it had become a global empire. Here is the fact that genuinely changed how I see this country. Portugal ran the longest empire in world history. Not the largest, the longest. From 1415, when Portugal captured Ceuta on the north coast of Africa, to 1999 when it handed Macau back to China. That is 584 years of continuous empire on 4 continents. Most people picture empires as conquered territory. Portugal's was different. It was largely a network of trading posts, strategic footholds along coastlines that controlled the flow of spices, gold, and silk across the globe. Less occupation, more leverage. The Age of Discovery, the era when European explorers mapped the coast of Africa, reached India, and changed global trade forever, was a Portuguese project. And the evidence of all of it is still standing, still walkable, still extraordinary. The evidence of all that history is still standing. And you can walk into the monastery that Vasco da Gama prayed in before sailing to India. You can stand next to a Roman temple that has been in continuous use since the 1st century. You can climb a staircase where every landing was designed to represent a stage of the Passion. That's what makes Portugal special for history lovers. The past isn't beneath glass, it's underneath your feet. Before we get into the cities, let me orient you geographically because Portugal is small and logical, and understanding the layout will make your planning so much easier. Think of mainland Portugal in 4 bands from north to south. At the top you have the Norte, Porto, Guimarães, Braga, and the Douro Valley. This is the oldest part of Portugal. The architecture is granite and austere. The history is foundational. This is literally where the country began. Moving south, you hit the Lisbon corridor, the capital and its surroundings, including Sintra and Cascais. This is where most first-time visitors spend the majority of their time, and for good reason. It's UNESCO rich, logistically easy, and extraordinarily beautiful. Below Lisbon is the Alentejo, a vast sun-baked interior region that most tourists skip entirely. That is a mistake. Évora alone is worth a dedicated day. Roman ruins, a Gothic cathedral, and one of the most unusual chapels in the world, all in one walkable city. And at the southern tip, the Algarve, Portugal's famous beach coast. Less UNESCO focused, but a beautiful way to end a cultural itinerary. And then there are the islands, the Azores and Madeira, sitting out in the Atlantic, each with their own UNESCO designations and ecosystems. best treated as dedicated trips rather than quick add-ons. Now here's where I get to properly nerd out. Portugal has 17 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. 17! For a country the size of the American state of Indiana. That is extraordinary. I'm going to walk you through my must-visit tier, the ones I think every history-focused traveler should prioritize. Number 1, the historic Centre of Porto. The Ribeira district along the Douro River is one of the most atmospheric UNESCO sites in all of Europe. Azulejo-tiled facades, medieval alleyways, and the Iron Dom Luis I bridge arching over the whole scene. Porto is not optional. Number 2, the cultural landscape of Sintra, just outside Lisbon. Romanticist palaces, a Moorish castle, and forested hills that feel almost otherworldly. This is not just a pretty day trip. It's a UNESCO site that tells the story of 19th century European Romanticism through architecture. Number 3, the Monastery of Hieronymites and the Tower of Belém in Lisbon. These are twin monuments of the Age of Discovery. The manual stonework of the Geronimos Monastery, ropes, armillary spheres, coral, sea creatures carved into the facade. It's unlike anything you've seen before. It literally looks like the ocean turned to stone. Number 4, the historic Centre of Guimarães. This is where Portugal was born. Alfonso Henriques, the first king of Portugal, was born here in the 1100s, and the castle that overlooks the city still stands. Walking those streets, you are walking through the literal origin point of a nation. And 5, and this one surprises people, Bom Jesus do Monte in Braga, a Baroque staircase sanctuary climbing a forested hillside where every landing was designed to represent a stage of the Passion. The symbolism is built into the architecture itself. It's unlike anything else in the country. There are 12 more UNESCO sites I haven't gotten to. I'll link the full breakdown in the description and my written guide. So how do you actually structure a Portugal trip? Here is my number 1 piece of advice, and it will save you both time and backtracking. Fly into Porto, fly out of Lisbon. This is called an open jaw flight, and for Portugal, it is the perfect setup. The country's history runs roughly north to south, from where the nation was founded, down through the Age of Discovery monuments, to the Alentejo interior. Flying in one end and out the other means you follow that narrative without retracing your steps. Here's how I'd structure 10 to 14 days. Days 1 through 3, Porto. The UNESCO Historic Center, the Ribeira waterfront, Livrario Leno, one of the most beautiful bookshops in the world, and the port wine cellars of Vila Nova de Gaia across the river. Days 4 and 5, day trips or an overnight in Guimarães and Braga. 2 UNESCO sites, 1 northern swing. Days 6 and 7, Coimbra. The University of Coimbra is one of Europe's oldest, and the Baroque library, the Biblioteca Joana, has to be seen to be believed. Days 8 through 10, Lisbon. The Alfama district, the Belém monuments, the Pombaline grid of the Baixa. 3 days is minimum. Days 11 and 12, Sintra, day trip or overnight from Lisbon. Days 13 and 14, Évora, the perfect final stop before flying home from Lisbon. I have a full day-by-day version of this itinerary available as a downloadable PDF. I'll put it in the link in the description. It includes where to stay each night, what to book in advance, and a UNESCO site checklist for the whole trip. Quick note on timing. because it matters more than most guides let on. My recommendation for first-time visitors, go in May or September. You'll find mild temperatures, manageable crowds, and that light off the Atlantic Ocean that makes every photo look incredible. If you visit in June, you will hit the Festas de Lisboa and São João in Porto, Portugal's great summer festivals. They are extraordinary cultural experiences. They are also loud, crowded, and wonderfully chaotic. Go in knowing that, and you'll have an unforgettable time. Go in expecting a quiet, early-to-bed trip, and you'll be caught off guard. Fall, specifically September and October, is arguably the best-kept secret. Harvest season in the Douro Valley, thinner crowds, and warm temperatures. If you're flexible, September is my personal favorite time to visit. I cannot make a Portugal video without talking about the food. Portuguese cuisine is one of Europe's most underrated culinary traditions, and you will eat extremely well. The non-negotiables: pastel de nata, the custard tart that originated at the Geronimos Monastery in Belém and is still best eaten warm from the original bakery, Pastéis de Belém. Bacalhau, salt cod, the national ingredient reportedly prepared in over 365 ways. At least one of them will become your favorite. Francesinha, Porto's legendary sandwich, layered with meat and smothered in a spiced beer and tomato sauce. It is not light. Order it anyway. And this one is my personal favorite, the Porto Tonico. White port poured over ice and tonic water and a slice of lime with mint leaves. I have genuinely never been able to recreate it at home. Order one at a riverside cafe in Porto and you will understand what I mean immediately. A few practical things before I let you go. Pack comfortable walking shoes. Portugal's famous stone mosaic pavement, the Calçada Portuguesa, is beautiful and absolutely relentless on your feet and your rolling luggage. Carry on only if you can manage it. The train network between cities is efficient, affordable, and scenic. The Porto to Lisbon line alone is a lovely journey. Book the big UNESCO sites in advance, especially Sintra. The palaces there sell out, and showing up without a timed ticket for entry on a summer morning is genuinely painful. And when you book hotels, book directly, not through Expedia, not through Booking.com, directly on the official hotel website. You will get a better room selection, a human at the front desk who is actually invested in your stay, and far better support if something goes wrong. Portugal isn't a loud country. It doesn't announce itself. But once you start looking closely at the tiles on the train station walls, at the Roman temple in the middle of a modern city, at the manuline stonework that looks like the sea itself froze into stone, you'll realize you are somewhere genuinely extraordinary. History is tiled into the train stations. Faith is sung up sacred staircases, and memory hangs in every alley that still echoes with footsteps from 800 years ago. I hope this guide helps you plan a trip that goes deeper than the surface. If you want help making it happen, I offer custom travel planning built around your specific historical interests and timeline. The link to get started is in the description. The full written version of this guide is also linked below. It has complete UNESCO site list, a full itinerary, and where to stay in each city. If this was helpful, please like this video and subscribe. I publish History First travel guides for UNESCO nerds just like you. And leave me a comment. Which Portugal UNESCO site is at the top of your list? I read every single one. I'll see you in the next video.